from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Always proud to be here with you. And, of course, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're watching us here on Facebook Live, facebook.com/LiveNowDT. He's no stranger to the broadcast. You've seen us plenty of times with the team out at the Wildcat Sports Pub, and that is West Genesee head football coach of the Wildcats, Joe Corley, who is here with us this morning to speak on the team and where things are at, coming off of a game this past week where they hung tough with CNS on the road at CNS, visiting the North Stars. Hung tough with them, came out strong in the third quarter, made it 14-7, and then had some penalties late in the game. Some things didn't go their way ultimately, and came out with a 21-10 loss, and at 1-4 continuing to grow and blossom and build on some of the positive plays that they had from their offense and some other pieces that they had. So we're going to talk about that and so much more here this morning with Joe Corley. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well, Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And Coach, you know, first and foremost, when we did our show, our preview of the 2019 season with your West Genesee Wildcats football program, you know, a lot of the guys that were there, I mean, Xavier Brumfield didn't sit on the dais with us. He wasn't up at the podium, but at the same time, his teammates were talking about him a lot. So even though he wasn't up there with us at the round table, there was a lot of discussion about him, and sitting there and watching the game live against CNS, I could tell why there was such a discussion. Just what you can say about how he's playing, and I mean, this is a guy that obviously gives your offense a spark and gives your running game a spark as well.
Xavier's a workhorse, man. To put it simple, the kid, he doesn't get tired. He's very durable. He runs very hard. And what's great about Xavier is he can run the ball inside and outside. He has great vision. He's dangerous in every phase of our game. We got the ball in his hands last night with some bubble screens. He made some plays for us. He's just a good football player, man. Bottom line, we're lucky to have him.
And what Xavier has been able to do to, you know, run it up the gut and create some opportunities. I mean, going back to this CNS game, especially in the second half, he was able to burst forward for some big-time runs and obviously move the chains and keep your team on offense. Just what you could say about how he powers through the middle and creates opportunities, you know, with his power and his ability, because that's a huge part of the game, to have a back that can take those hits and keep on moving.
He's your true downhill runner. He's not a side-to-side kid, although he knows when to bounce plays. But when he runs downhill and you give him a seam, he hits it hard and his feet don't stop.
What is it about, you know, when you look at the backfield and just what you've seen from him? How did he blossom? How did he grow? What's kind of your maybe overall analysis about, you know, from the moment he stepped onto the team to where he is right now?
Just how much harder he runs now than he has in the past. I mean, last year it was a lot of stutter stepping at the line of scrimmage, making people miss, things like that, which he was good at that, and he made plays for it. But this year he's putting his shoulders down, he's hitting the hole hard, and like I said, just evolve into that aggressive downhill runner whose feet don't stop, and he grinds out every yard he can get.
We look at this season so far, speaking here with Joe Corley, the head coach of the West Genesee Wildcats football team. And I know that you started off the season on the road on September 7th with a loss, and you got a victory at home against Corcoran, and since then have gone on to a 3-game losing streak, but played Cicero North Syracuse close for the majority of it there in the second half, and then obviously against Baldwinsville, played a closer game there. Just what your takeaways have been this season, what you're seeing from your team that goes beyond the win and loss record.
You know, when you're on the outside looking in, Dan, you know, all you tend to see is the final score, and sometimes these kids, you know, get evaluated on that. But what I see as a coach is we're playing very good football right now.
Yeah.
The kids are getting better week by week. Our offense keeps developing and evolving into, you know, really that multiple threat that we want to be, and we're very close to that. Our defense is playing better each week, playing more physical, flying around, making plays, getting themselves off the field. What hurts us most right now are the unforced mistakes. The main one being the penalties, the turnovers. We had a couple of those last night that really shot us in the foot. So what I've been telling my guys the last few weeks is that it's not a football issue. We're a good football team. We're playing good football, but we're finding ways to hurt ourselves with some of those penalties and things like that. That are drive killers and that are letting teams off the hook when we're on defense and we have third and long situations. We just got to clean that up, and we've been working at that. It's just, to me, it's just an experience thing, and these guys are still very young. Here we are in week 5, but they're still developing. They've got a lot on their plate, and they are getting better. But we're going into week 6 now. We're confident. I think we have a shot to win these last 2 games, make a run at the playoffs, and it's a whole new season from there.
Absolutely, and when you look at that, and you look at the fact, like you said, wins and losses doesn't show much of anything. You see steady improvement. You played for the Section 3 championship in the Dome last season up against CNS. What did you expect this year to be? A learning, kind of a learning curve type of thing? Did you expect there to be any type of a rebuild, so to speak? I mean, did you anticipate the fact that there would maybe be some growing pains coming off of last season?
Well, when I met with the kids back in December, we always have a meeting going into the winter to talk about the offseason. I came right out and told the kids, I said, we are graduating 30 seniors and 18 of them are starters. I said, let's not beat around the bush here. We are going to be going through a rebuilding process. It's going to happen fast, and you're going to be tested early. As a very young and inexperienced team. With that being said, you never want it to be a step backwards. You obviously take the field. You expect to win every football game. That's important. But yeah, Dan, I mean, we are still learning. We're still coming around. I'm seeing a couple of our seniors now starting to step up, starting to make plays for us, starting to take this team and lead the way we expect them to. We're starting to see some underclassmen really come along. I mean, we talked about Nick Louise already, how explosive he was last night, and he kind of had his coming out party last night. The kid had a great game. So we're starting to see some of these things fall into place. The results aren't there yet. It's a process. Right now it's important for us to regroup Monday afternoon, go to work, get this win against FM Friday, and then finish the season out at Rome in 2 weeks, get to the playoffs, and get after it.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that. Speaking here with West Genesee Wildcats head football coach Joe Corley on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Charney's Menswear and Tuxedo Studios, 3150 Erie Boulevard East in Syracuse, New York. To speak, a little bit more about Nick Louise, you said he kind of had his coming out party against CNS. When he caught those passes, he turned the jets on immediately, and his legs just started chugging away, and he obviously was able to make some big-time plays for you, create some opportunities for you. Just what you can say about, like saying that it was a coming out party for him. Did you get the sense kind of watching him in practice or maybe some moments in other games that this was one of those things that was about to happen? He was about to break, about to kind of show himself. Did you get a feeling for the fact that, a game like this was right around the corner for him?
For weeks we have. I mean, I see it every day in practice. Nick is an athlete first and foremost. Nick's a lacrosse player and a football player. He's just a true athlete. He's the kind of athlete you want in your team. But the kid has a great attitude. He brings a real positive attitude to practice. He brings a high level of energy. He's always very focused, and when you need him, he's ready. He's a kid that I really have enjoyed coaching since day one. And we've seen hints of his potential all season long. He'll make a play here, make a play there. And we knew that once he had his big night, it was going to be big. And you saw it last night. And I think a lot of it was Braden getting confident, getting the ball out to him. But it's a matter for us as coaches to just put the ball in his hands. And we finally were able to do that last night, and you see the results. So we didn't get the win, but we finally start to see this offense starting to really come around and be that multiple threat that we want it to be able to go a pro style, line up in the I formation, hit you in the mouth, but also spread you out, attack you in the perimeter with double screens. and throw the ball downfield like we did. Now we just got to clean it up, fix some of those mental mistakes, those self-imposed mistakes, and get this thing rolling.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you if you saw that, if you can feel that steady improvement. I know the record at 1-4 doesn't adequately show it, but if you're seeing this team start to come along and fit the, kind of fit what you're looking for and what you're going after. I mean, these guys that you've been asked to step up, 30 seniors, like you said, moving on, and 18 of them starters. If you're seeing these underclassmen really start to click it and find their place.
We have, and we've been playing good ball. Like I said, we were in a dogfight with Beeville a couple weeks ago, and darn near pulled that one off. We were just a couple breaks away from that. Utica Proctor, that score really wasn't indicative of how the game went. For about 43 out of 48 minutes, that was about a 21-14 ball game against a very good team. So our guys played really well. It just got away from us there for about 5 minutes. And, when you give a team like Utica Proctor that kind of momentum, they're going to explode on you. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they're 5-0. Give them credit. Last night, when we were able to clean things up and really played our game for, about a quarter and a half, you saw what we're all about. So we've been seeing this all along. We're just really trying to chip away and get better each week, and finally put together 4 quarters. And when we do, it's going to be exciting.
And I want to ask you before I let you go, speaking here with Coach Corley this morning, Braden McNeil, your quarterback, just what your takeaways have been from him. I mean, I saw him make some plays on the run, not even really getting at his feet. He was able to save some drives and make some things happen. Seems to have good vision down the field and to, catch guys in good areas and give them opportunities to make plays on the ball. Just what you've seen from McNeil up to this point.
Steady improvement, just like we expected from him. We knew coming in he was obviously young, raw. He's got a lot of work to do to get to where he wants to be. But he was a student of the game from day one. When we started stuff, working out with our guys in the spring with our stud camp, he was just like a sponge, Dan. You could just tell, even if he wasn't in, he was listening, he was taking everything in, and he was learning with his ears, with his eyes. You could tell he was, fully immersed in the sport. And when you get a kid who's that coachable and a student of the game like he is, when he gets his shot, he's going to take advantage of it, and he has. And I feel like last night he took a step in the right direction to where he needs to be, where we need him to be, and I'm excited about the next 2 weeks.
And I do want to give a shout out to special teams. I don't think that they get enough by any stretch of the imagination. Your punter, Riley Small, was able to do some great things. Kicker punter, Riley Small, out there for you. And in the game against CNS, there was one of the punts that he had in the second half where it felt like he had 10 minutes to set that ball and get rid of it. And so not only credit to him, but credit to, your special teams blocking units that you had and just what you can say about them.
Special teams is something that we as coaches take a lot of pride in because we know the importance of special teams, not just the extra points and field goals that make a difference, but the game of field position. And I can't tell you how many times we would be flat, throughout a game, and then we make a big team on special teams, it changes the field position or it gives us momentum, and it completely turns things around for us. You want to talk about Riley Small in particular. We got to the Dome last year because of Riley Small. I mean, we won the game against Liverpool in the semifinals ultimately by a field goal. I mean, you take away the field goal, you take away the PATs he made, we don't win that football game. So we went to the championship last year in part because of him and his ability to kick the ball. So it's such a huge phase of the game. We're constantly stressing that to our players to take pride in it, work at it, get good at it, and let that be something that we use to our advantage.
That coming from Coach Corley. Coach, as the team steps forward, the community, just any words you want to say for these next couple games. You have on October 11th, you'll be at home against Fayetteville Manlius at 6 p.m., and then on October 18th, you'll be at Rome Free Academy at 7 o'clock. Just, words to the supporters of West Genesee and the community and just what you want them to know as well as your kids as you step forward here.
I would tell them come out and support the kids because, it's like I said, it's been a tough few weeks, but these guys are still working. We're still here. We're alive and well, and we still control our own destiny. If we win these next 2 games, we are going to the playoffs, Dan, and you know it as well as everyone else that's involved in sports that's a new season. Once the playoffs start, all bets are off, all records are out the door. It's 1 week at a time. And if we can get these next 2 games, which I know we can and we should, and I believe we will, our guys are going to get confident, and they're going to go into the first round of the playoffs ready to roll. And you never know what can happen at that point.
That coming from Joe Corley, West Genesee Wildcats head football coach. Joe, as always, I appreciate the time and appreciate all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you.